Hi, this is Bruce. I want to talk to you today about the division of labor and establishing trust between different departments and why it's sometimes a challenge to get people to understand maybe where the miscommunication is happening. So imagine you have a case where you have a support team and maybe a business team, and the support team is calling the business team, the business team is always calling the support team for support. And the support team saying, hey, business, you should be able to learn this and handle it yourself. And the business is saying, hey, support team, we need you more than you seem to realize. You know, what's going on with the technology. And so let me show you this handy dandy picture here. Hopefully you can see that. And on one side is party A, and the other side is party B. And there's 10% lines there that indicate basically what amount of the time party A knows that it was totally their issue and their fault and they could have handled it, and what percent of the time party B also knows it was specifically their fault and they could handle it. So that's 10% of the time for each of them. So where's the miscommunication come in? Well, in the middle is the 80% of the time when the two of them have to collaborate. And so each party can rightly say, well, it was only my fault 10% of the time. It was only my issue 10% of the time. And 90% of the time, it was involving the other person. And again, both parties can say that, so they have this idea that, they shouldn't necessarily have to take responsibility for it alone, or if they have a problem, statistically, 90% of the time they're going to need the other person involved. They might as well ask them. So the only way that you can get a clean division of labor where people understand when they should ask and when they should handle it themselves is if you can separate that overlap and make it clear where the division of labor begins or ends for each party. So the way you do that might be, for example, documentation. And you might say, if it's in the documentation, it was the responsibility of the end user to read that documentation. If it wasn't in the documentation, then it would be the responsibility of the support team to either support it or add to the documentation, etc. So it's really important to understand that when you're maybe frustrated that the other party isn't understanding why you need them or that you shouldn't need them, is because the vast majority of problems involve both parties, and you have to detangle that by giving them some clear handoff point between them. So I don't have the drawing here, but imagine, let me get it on camera, that there was a nice dividing line right here in the middle, where there was a handoff point, and 50% of the time the one party could handle it by themselves, and 50% of the time the other party could handle it by themselves. And depending on the balance, it may go 90-10 one way or the other eventually, but that's how you become efficient as an organization. Thank you. Bye-bye.